And that's what we were seeing when we were there. Mm-hmm. We were seeing 100 a day and 300 injured a day for pretty much the 2 weeks that we were there.
Yeah, this says right here, in Gaza, more Palestinians are killed while waiting for food aid.
That is crazy. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. And for some reason, we are still scared, cowardly to say F Israel. Once again, I don't owe them nothing and they don't owe me nothing. My allegiance is not to some other country. Damn, it's barely for America at this point. Hey, thank you for clicking this video. Just to let you know, this is a clip from my previous live stream that I did. Just want to let you know I go live every Sunday through Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you don't know what time that is, go ahead and Google that so you can meet me and have a conversation on my next stream. Once again, I appreciate you clicking this video. Now let's enjoy the video. All right. Oh, you can see my iPad. Let me get that out the way. So, man, we already talked about slavery. Now we're going to talk about this genocide that is happening. Okay. And once again, we cannot be ashamed to call it what it is. They are systematically killing, strategically killing these people, innocent people. I mean, like, damn, they calculated that Hamas was around 10,000 people at the most. Okay. They gave it a range at the most 10,000 people. Okay. And these are government officials, not just like random people. They have killed over 70,000 people so far, not including what's under the rubble. So don't hit me in the comments saying, oh man, what about, I'm saying that they have counted over 70,000 people dead, not including what's under the rubble. So at some point, the excuse is, the excuse can't be, oh, we're trying to get rid of Hamas. Like, that excuse expired like a year and a half ago. You see what I'm saying? Over 120 injured. 80% of Gaza is leveled to the ground. It is destroyed. Even if they were able to come back into Gaza, it will be a nightmare trying to rebuild. 240 journalists killed. I mean, we wonder why we can't get accurate, trusted information over there, because they keep killing the journalist. I mean, that's kind of crazy, right? So we're supposed to believe, but they killed the journalist. Just happened a few days ago. We covered it. Food scarcity. Once again, trying to feed, I want to say, over 1 million people with just a few drop crates is not going to do it. People are starving over there, which we're going to get into. And committed plenty of war crimes, which we will get into the next video. As of early April 2025, the most widely cited figures indicated that at least 400 aid workers have been killed in Gaza since October 2023. More precisely, an estimate range between 408 to 412 fatalities, including hundreds of UN agency staff members. They are killing everybody over there. You gotta be a brave somebody to purposely go over there and risk your life to help people. So why are people such cowards to speak up over here? I don't know, it's crazy. But let's go ahead and get into our first video. And this is with Theo Von. And I need to try to remember that people are not like myself. They're not going to go hard on a issue like I will. So I have to try to remember Theo Von is just a regular person, and I wish he could use his platform to do more amazing things. But at the least, he invites people that will speak the truth, especially what's going on over there. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Not take blood.
First off, I need to, pull up the window, right? Because you guys can't see nothing. Let's see. Oh, that's not it. Boom. There we go. Hey, we don't need. Oh no, we do need shaders. All right. So once again, Theo Von, he has. Let me rewind this back. Theo Von, he has a guest. Aziz Raham. Once again, I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that name, but he's been to Gaza as a physician, and he is going to drop some information. And if you're weak with hearing some of this stuff, it's real.
It's real. Just laughed. They're like, no, you're not. You're going to do a 4-hour shift because you're not going to make it more than that. And turns out they were right. There's
really?
no way. It's just so intense. It's the most intense traumatic experience I don't think any physician can understand. I would say take the most experienced trauma surgeon, in Baltimore, which is like one of the biggest trauma centers in America, and put him in Gaza, and it's like child's play compared to what's going on in Gaza. You're talking about like an influx of like 400 patients in like 4 hours with 30 casualties on arrival, 30 headshots on arrival, 30 critical mass shots on arrival, and then like everything in between, women, children, elderly, men, young boys. And it's just like, how the heck do you triage all this? And that was every day, man. So it took a mental toll.
What's that first moment that you notice, like, oh my God, this is a lot?
Yeah, so the first day we got there was actually pretty chill, the Friday. But then the Saturday, they had the MCI. It's called a mass casualty incident. And they basically pull a fire alarm. And I was like, what the hell is that? They're like, oh, every doctor come down to the ER to try to help. And so I was like, okay. So went downstairs, got in there. It's just like brain matter coming out of people. There's guts coming out of people's abdomens. There's people's legs blown off, and someone's carrying it in next to the, one of the family members bringing it in for the doctors. They think you can just reattach it, and it's just like absolute chaos. There's family members, security in the hospitals trying to push out the family members so the doctors and nurses can take care of the patients. It's absolute chaos. And then us American physicians are just like looking at each other like, what is going on here? And that's when reality hit, and I was like, okay, this must be like a one-off, and it just kept happening every day, and sometimes multiple times a day. And essentially, basically, we found the pattern related to when the GHF sites were opening up. Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is this American and Israeli initiative to bring in aid to Gaza, which basically has taken over all of the UN aid agencies, which the UN has been doing this for since World War II, right? Mm-hmm. And then I think in March officially, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is the only one allowed to bring aid into Gaza.
Yeah, we've been hearing a lot about this recently in the news, that there's like these long lines for aid, for food, right? You've been hearing a lot about like mass starvation and famine being used as a genocide tool. What do you see or notice with that, right? Like, you're hearing that people are like, the food is set up and it's a trap. You're hearing that Hamas controls the food. You're hearing all of these things, but we know, like you said earlier, international journalists aren't allowed to cover this, right?
Unfortunate.
So, and that is the first point of contention. Like, I mean, for the past, month and some change, they are not allowing food to go in. And at first it was like, no, we are allowing food to go in. It's just Hamas is stopping it from coming in. Then video comes out, which I seen it myself, and it was crazy. Sad and crazy. And it was on CNN. They literally have Jewish Israeli civilians at the points of entry, so where aid goes in, and they're blocking, they're protesting in front of the gates while they have their kids in their hands. This old lady with 2 kids in her hand is standing in front of a truck to stop aid and food from entering. That is a real thing. That's not Hamas. These are Israeli citizens. And then to top it off, Israeli citizens at night will go to these trucks, throw out all the food, all the aid, start stomping on it, lighting it on fire so they can't get their aid. Once again, when we have proof and video, they can't lie to us anymore. They can't continue to blame it on Hamas. Oh, they're selling it and they're hiding it. No, because we see it. And unfortunately, these people are recording themselves. They're snitching on themselves. But yeah, of course, blame it on Hamas, right? Got you.
Definitely, yeah, that's right.
And so what did you see? What did you notice?
We were hearing testimony from everyone coming in that the GHF sites is a death trap. And I'll just get into some psychology of some of the people there. So, in Islam, suicide is forbidden, right? But the situation there where almost everyone is depressed is that some people who have lost everything, their families, their kids, almost want to die. So they'll go to GHF kind of hoping they'll die.
Going to these food lines and these
they're just hoping they get shot because the statistics are there. Like, you're seeing 100 dead every day and like 300 injured every day. Like, it's almost consistent for the last month or two, and that's what we were seeing when we were there. We were seeing 100 a day and 300 injured a day for pretty much the 2 weeks that we were there.
Yeah, this says right here, in Gaza, more Palestinians are killed while waiting for food aid.
Hey, okay, I don't think we understand it, and you guys may not be able to see it clear through the blockers here, but this is for copyright purposes. But it says in Gaza, more Palestinians are killed while waiting for food and aid. That is crazy. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. And for some reason, we are still scared, cowardly to say F Israel. Once again, I don't owe them nothing and they don't owe me nothing. My allegiance is not to some other country. Damn, it's barely for America at this point. If you kill innocent people like this, I don't care what happens to your country. Don't care. You ain't getting no sympathy from me. If you want sympathy, go to Republicans, go to liberals, hell, go to Jesus. You're not getting that from me. I'm sorry. You killing innocent people. I want your country to go somewhere. Whatever happens deserves for that to happen. Simple as that. You get no love from me. Don't think so. Once again, ain't nobody paying my bills, so don't care.
Right here, in Gaza, more Palestinians are killed while waiting for food aid. At least 325 people in Gaza were killed by Israeli forces while trying to reach food last week. According to Gaza's health ministry, that figure included 24 people killed on Saturday, 14 on Sunday. The deadly search for food is happening despite Israeli assurances of a humanitarian pause and attacks to let more aid in as deaths from malnutrition soar in Gaza and starvation grips the territory.
What was the date on that?
August 3rd.
That's recent. I think they've been exposed quite a little bit more since, Anthony Aguilar came out. But as of June, I don't know if we can go back, but we were seeing 100 in Gaza a day, basically. But that's also between bombings within Gaza, not necessarily just
during the time you were there. How many were you guys seeing a day? Honestly,
patients.
Yeah, from humanitarian aid sites.
Oh, probably like 200.
Okay, so Muslim people can't take their own life because of their religion.
Yeah.
So right. You were seeing some of them who had gone to humanitarian aid sites and were purposely putting themselves in situations to take their own life, but without them having to do it?
So I didn't actually see that. I am in contact with a lot of the medical students and nurses and physicians right now. And one of them literally just told me this past week, if my wife and kid die, I'm going to GHF site, and I hope I'm taken. That's essentially,
That's
almost
crazy.
like I hope I die when I'm there.
That's
So
crazy.
it's real. The psych.
Bro, that is crazy. How? I can't. I don't even want to try to imagine being in a state of thinking, if my family dies, I'm going to go to this place and I hope they kill me. That is crazy, bro. Whew. Damn.
Psychology there is strange. We were at a table with our medical student, a couple of us doing rounds, which means talking about cases, talking about patients. And one of our medical students is like, what happens to the body after death? And so we were like, whoa, we kind of just like talked a little bit spiritually. And then she's like, my uncle and 20 family members just got drone striked like an hour ago. And not a single tear, not a single facial expression. And I was like, oh my God, like, how do I respond to that? If that happened in America, you would tell your medical school, take a week off, take a month off, do whatever you need to do. And then she took 3 hours off to go to the funeral the next day and came back. And that's it.
Damn.
One of your coworkers
One of the medical students. Yeah, she's 22
in Gaza,
in Gaza.
and
Yeah.
she was working there.
Yeah, the medical students are full-fledged medical students. They come every day. They're some of the hardest working people there. It's crazy. They have board exams. There's residency.
Where
Yeah.
are they hot? What school are they at?
Yeah, there's 2 medical schools in Gaza. I mean, they've been destroyed, and they all have to take a year off.
But
Essentially.
their homework still due, apparently.
Yeah,
I mean, that's fucking crazy.
yeah. You can't use the dog ate my homework excuse there.
I know. I don't know.
Yeah.
You could eat the drone ate my homework, though, maybe. But is that true? The Islamic University of Gaza and the Al Azhar University of Gaza?
Yeah, that's right.
Those are the schools?
Yeah.
A lot of their students were there in support, working in support.
Yeah, they're at mostly Nasser Hospital. Some of them are in the north in Al Shifa Hospital, which is another hospital up in the north area of Gaza.
Okay. You hear a lot of stories about the aid, right? The aid, that's been a big kickball that goes around like in the media of like, it's their fault. It's the UN's fault. It's Hamas is stealing the food. Like, what is the real truth over there? Is Hamas stealing it? Is there 600 pallets just sitting there? Like, what do you think's really going on?
So the GHF is basically taking over aid delivery to Gaza, and no one wants to work with them. The countries don't want to work with them. The UN does not want to work with them. So even though the UN does have food ready to go in warehouses, on trucks, waiting in Egypt and Jordan, it's not allowed in because Israel has only given authority to GHF. Okay. Now, GHF is run by private military contractors. So it's militarized aid, which is against international rules. I'm not a expert. I'm not a lawyer to talk about international rules, but you can look up the Geneva Convention, the Rome Statutes, and it's clear as day, right?
Let's pull that up then, just so we know it.
Yeah. So no, the UN doesn't want to work with them. They don't want to be implicated in their own rules, against their own rules, right?
The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is run by a combination of American security contractors, ex-military officers, and humanitarian aid officials. The organization operates with the support of the U.S. and Israeli governments, but it is primarily managed and overseen by American individuals. The GHF lacks transparency, independence, and adherence to established humanitarian norms. The organization's leadership and operational structure have faced significant criticism from international aid groups and the United Nations, who argue that the GHF lacks transparency, independence, and adherence to established humanitarian norms.
I mean, Jake Wood, he's a military veteran.
Simple as that. Once again, they are breaking rules. Like these rules that other countries are supposed to be in agreement with. Be aligned, but like, hey, these, like, war is going to happen, which I don't really buy, but okay, for the sake of conversation, war is going to happen. But these are some of the things that you should never partake in or do yourself in the middle of a war. And Israel is doing all these things, which in the next video we're going to get into some detail, but they're doing these things. In America, as the strongest militarized country in the world, we are allowing Israel to do this. That's simple. It's like a kid beating up a small little kid, and there's adults around watching this, and they can't stop this from happening because the big brother is just right there behind Israel, allowing this to happen. And if anyone tries to step in and stop Israel, what do you think America's going to do? So once again, like, hey, God bless America, huh?
Founder, right? He actually resigned right as they got established because he's like, screw this, I'm out. This is not going to be good.
Wow.
He saw the writing on the wall.
And he started it.
And props to him.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow, he'd be interesting to talk to probably, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd like to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, me too. Okay,
But you asked me. I feel like I didn't really answer you yet. I lost 15 pounds when I was there. Every one of us 6 physicians lost a lot of weight. I have one of those smart scales at home. Before Gaza, after Gaza, it's like this graph that just goes straight down, which is awesome for me because I came back in 2 weeks and now I'm slimmer. But for them, it's indefinite. They've been doing this for months. They have hypovitaminosis. They don't have enough energy. They have anemia from no iron, no protein. Women can't breastfeed. They deliver a baby and there's no milk. There's no formula coming in. That's banned. It got confiscated by some of the doctors who were trying to bring it in. And every aspect of their health is being affected, right? So even though you're not seeing like skin and bones on every single person, if you took their labs, they are sick. And there's stages to starvation. You don't just one day you're fat and then the next day you're skinny. It doesn't work like that. And some people don't become skin and bones, right? Some people actually their belly bloats up and because of loss of protein and the fluid instead of being in the blood vessels goes into the belly and they can die in different ways. And then
and that's the crazy part because once again, from the outside looking in, just with a normie's perspective, you think starvation only looks one specific way. Super ultra skinny, ribs is showing, like, you got this weird just autonomy, like that's what looks like starvation to us. But once again, like he explained, like that's not the situation that's happening over there. So once again, once you understand and know how this is looking over there, then we can speak up properly. But if we don't know, we're never going to be able to fully understand. So, hey, man, education will go a long way sometime. All right, something's happening in my Ben, can you check this? In my Twitch. Yeah. It looks like a raid happened. I don't know what that is. But hey, if you're watching on Twitch, once again, hey, thank you for watching. Now we're in the middle of a thing here. But once again, I appreciate you guys.
We went to the neonatal ICU in the pediatric hospital and we saw, the babies that are skin and bones, and it's disgusting to see that knowing what they need, which is formula.
But what were you?
Hey, once again, Shane McGinnis. I brought your crowd over. We came for the politics. Hey, well, you came to the right spot. This is the kind of politics that is needed for people. We are progressives and we stand on business. So we are touched by your hate. Hey, well, you're definitely going. I don't want to say be touched a lot. That will come off in a wrong way, but
Did you hear that Hamas was taking the food, or did you what's the truth? Like, were you hearing there, right? Were you hearing anything different? Because here it's so hard to know, right? It's so hard to know what's going on.
Yeah, so I went as a doctor, but I think that's a great question. We did not see a combatant. We did not talk about combatants. No, none of the patients talk about that. Honestly, everyone's just concerned about how they're going to eat. No one's talking about Hamas. And that said, I am very curious. So I did ask many people, privately, not patients, but like coworkers and stuff, like, what's going on out there? Like, are they actually? And everyone's like, no, there's no way. To go to the GHF site, you have to go in an active war zone. There's tanks. There's private military contractors from the U.S., which are all special forces. There's IDF, the Israeli military. I mean, it doesn't even make sense that they would go out there. And even if they did, the question is like, why can't we flood Gaza with aid? Because then Hamas would have zero, leverage over the food. So if you're saying
so he makes a good point, and once again, like I said at the beginning of this segment here, so once again, you guys probably missed the light if you're just now jumping in. You're not going to get the real information if you don't have trusted sources, trusted individuals, trusted organizations, institutions in these areas. If they're killing over 200 journalists in the past year and a half, and they're not allowing people to come in or allowing people to come out, how are we supposed to get real information that's happening over there? So like the whole narrative that Israel is trying to push is, oh, Hamas is taking all the food. Oh, they're hiding all the food and selling it, in a black market or something. Well, I mean, we just have someone saying, hey, that is not true. And if that is true, wouldn't it make better sense to, like you said, flood the area with food? So therefore, there is no black market because people have food and nutrition. People have the aid that they need. But once again, we can't verify that if you're killing the journalists over there. If you're killing the aid workers, over 400 aid workers have been killed. Not by accident, not like they fell off a mountain or something, shot, blown up. A bomb dropped on them. Just like the journalist a few days ago, I don't have his name in front of me here, but they just blamed it on him being a part of Hamas. While his colleagues say different. He had kids and they dropped a bomb on him with other journalists. So once again, hey, I'm sorry. And for the new people here, I need you guys to understand something really quick. The Palestinian people do not deserve to be killed like this. It is an evil thing what Israel is doing. And if you can't say that with your whole chest, you are a coward. That's simple. You're a coward.
Hamas is taking the food, stealing it, and selling it. And that's why the food's so difficult to obtain. Well, then flood the markets with food. And then Hamas has no leverage over the food, right? It's just like common sense, supply and demand. So their argument doesn't even add up. But that said, I have asked many locals in the hospital. Obviously they don't really know, but I didn't see any evidence of that. The only evidence that we saw, and actually, by the way, Anthony Aguilar said that they weren't even screening the patients. The aid seekers for being Hamas or not. So there's no screening process. How would they know?
Exactly.
There's not going to be some guy with an AK-47, going into an active war zone.
He's like, knock, knock. And they're like, who's there? And he's like,
yeah, exactly.
Hamas, Yeah.
That's simple. Once again, do you think Hamas infantry is going to be wearing a shirt that says, hello, I'm Hamas. I'm here to steal food? No. So once again, if you're just bombing just randomly, come on. It's really simple here.
Yeah. I agree.
If only war worked like that, right?
I know. But that's one thing I haven't understand about a lot of this military effect from the IDF, because they're always.
Yeah. And I don't know who this guy is in my YouTube channel, but he's about to get himself blocked. But once again, hey, I don't care who you are, what you represent. If you see that it's okay to kill innocent people, here's what you can do. Hold your breath until I say stop. That's what you can do that easily, and jump off a building while you're at it. That's simple. You see what I'm saying? Like that doesn't mean nothing to me. Once again, if you're evil, you're evil, and you're not going to like me. I'm not going to be your best friend. Sorry.
They speak highly of there's a lot of high reflection of their military and their abilities. But then you're like, well, why not just send in Marines or your Navy SEAL group to seek out Hamas instead of blanketly bombing thousands of people? Like, why would, you know what I'm saying? If your group is that great, why wouldn't you send them to pick off the bad guys one at a time? That's the part that sometimes I don't understand.
That's simple. And Bill Burr said it best. Like, if you have beef with your neighbor and, you know, you're confronting them and they have a baby, you know, strapped on their chest, what are you going to do? Punch through the baby to fight your neighbor? No, you're probably not going to fight your neighbor, or you're probably going to try to go around the child at the least. But you're not going to punch through the baby to get to fight your neighbor. Only a hateful, evil, demon person would do something like that. And that's literally what Israel is doing. And I called this out on the October 8th. They just need an excuse to wipe out the Palestinian people. This was never going to be a quick in and out. You know, we're just going to get Hamas. We're just going to get the people. You know, we're just going to get our hostages. No, it's not about that. Because if you understand the history, if you understand the rhetoric that has been spewing out of these people for decades, you would understand this was a moment. This is one of those seize the moments, seize the opportunity for them. And now we're what? A year and a half in? Over 70,000 dead? Over 120,000 people injured? Over 80% of Gaza is flattened. But yeah, it's about the hostages, right? Oh, it's about Hamas. Well, at that point, all of them are Hamas because they're killing all of them. I mean, that's a genocide, right? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you know, they motto themselves as the most moral army in the world, which I find kind of odd.
Well, I think I think anybody would find those days are over. I think
100%, 100%. But we
yes, those days are over. Once again, people are starting to realize, and unfortunately, it's taken some people a year and a half to understand this. But I guess, you know, it's better late than never. I mean, like, it's already 70,000 people dead, and that's not including the bodies, the children, the women, the young people under the rubble, like, you know. And at least we can see the information that they're putting out themselves. Like I said, these people are self-snitching on themselves. They are showing you what they're doing because they enjoy it. This is what they want to do. And like I said plenty of times before, like, if people are trying to tell you who they are, don't make excuses for them. I know a lot of people like myself want to try to see the good in people, but sometimes we should know. And if you're young, I'm sorry to break it to you, but like, some people want to be evil. Some people want to cause chaos and destruction to other people's lives. That's what they want to do. And it doesn't make sense to us because we're not like that. We're not built like that. I couldn't do something like that even on my worst day. But we have to understand, with the evidence, the proof, the statistics that lie before us, these people are being killed for no reason. And as Americans, which leads into the next video, if you are too scared to speak up, if you are ashamed or just don't care, you are literally a part of the problem. You are a part of the problem, and especially our politicians, our elected officials. And our next video, we're going to talk about that's why Democrats suck. That's why the liberal half of the Democratic Party is trash, and they're going to lose because progressive voters have this thing called a moral compass. We're not going to, once again, allow ourselves to vote for the lesser evil when that lesser evil is going to continue doing the same thing. I'm sorry, that doesn't fly with people. And I understand. But hey,
myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra.